Is photo hosting. There's two major players in the photo hosting arena. One is Picasa, which is another, again, a Google product, which you can access through your Google account. And it gives you about 1.5 gigs, almost 2 gigs of photo space for free, which is plenty for an incident. Unless you're shooting raw video and you have a huge bandwidth or internet connection, or raw pictures. And then there's Flickr, which is more of a professional photographer's account system. And again, that's free, but you're limited to 100 megs a day, unless you buy the pro version for $20. And a lot of agencies, state agencies now, are buying pro versions of Flickr just to host their photos externally. So today we're going to cover Picasa. And Picasa's easier, and it's a little more intuitive for folks. At a conference call last year with John Holden with InsaWeb, they're going to be integrating InsaWeb more with Picasa's photo hosting. So it's probably a good thing to know and learn. There's a couple of tools that go along. There's the web portion called Picasa Web, and it's picasaweb.com, and it's in the manual. And there's also Picasa the program. It's an application you download and install on your computer.
And what's the difference?
Well, the difference, the web-based one is just you can send photos up there and move them around limited. With Picasa the program, you can actually edit photos and manipulate and clean them up. Say you have a photo that's really smoky and a lot of haze in it, you can actually, there's tools in Picasa that will, it's really easy, it's PhD, and I want to call it Push Here Dummy. You hit one button and it clears up the smoke and haze normally. If not, you can go back, there's a couple other tools. I'm going to bring that up here right now. Let me get to some relevant pictures here. Two different tools that work as, basically the same, two different but the same. No. The web portion, which is your hosting platform, where you can host up to 1.5 gigs, almost 2 gigs of space of photos. And then there's Picasa, which is the program that actually works with the web portion. And it works very well. In fact, I was on a fire in Sedona a couple years ago, and a Reuters photographer showed me how to use Picasa. He says it's tons better than Photoshop for doing simple edits, and it's really, really easy, and it's free. So Reuters uses Picasa and then their Google platform to upload their photos, and New York or whoever grabs them and takes them down. So there's some functionalities that it doesn't have, like Photoshop would, but Photoshop's a $500 program, and Picasa's good enough for an incident, and it's free, which is kind of a key point there. And I use it all the time. I hardly use Photoshop unless I need to Photoshop in eyes for somebody who's got their eyes closed with the president on a picture or something like that. So it happened. So a few things that Picasa will do is you have a wide range of tools here. You can crop, straighten, meaning if the photo's crooked, it's really easy to fix. If I get my mouse back, you've got a cool red eye reduction feature. It'll actually go in, and you can actually remove the red eye, and it actually works. She doesn't have red eyes, but if you tighten in on the eye, you could remove the red eye. Luckily, I don't have a camera that does red eye too much. But and you could rotate images fairly easily. And then this is pretty dark. If I hit I'm feeling lucky, this is an automated tool that kind of gives its best guess on what the photo should look like. That brightens it up a little bit. But you also have the fill light feature, which kind of brings it up, and it doesn't destroy the image. The great thing with Picasa, it does not, you upload your original photos, it does not touch the original photos. It makes a duplicate, if you will. So all your originals stay original, and it just makes the changes in Picasa so you don't have the original photo damaged. Unless you actually go in there and hit save. There's another feature that we won't get into really right now. And then there's also auto contrast, which if my feeling lucky doesn't work, you can hit auto contrast and it'll change it around. It's really fun to play with. I use it all the time. You have a couple of tuning effects. Again, you have fill lights, some highlights. You can go in here and change things around. Remove some shadows, add shadows. And you have a sharpen feature, which is handy if you get a bunch of dull photos from a smartphone or a mobile phone. You can go in there and hit sharpen. And everything has an undo button. Like if you hit apply and you want to save your changes, you can undo it. And you can undo it all the way back to the beginning of the photo. It saves all your changes. So you can undo tuning, undo the fill light, back to the original photo. And it doesn't harm the original raw photo that you have on your hard drive. It just makes it through this program. Another great tool is you could where'd it go? You could store your photos if you're in an album, like you have a group of photos in a folder somewhere on your My Pictures file, and you're going through them. Oh, I want to save this one. I click save, and this one's kind of cool. I hit this little button. It's called hold. It saves it in this little tray here in the lower left-hand corner. And then that way, you save the ones you want, and when you're done, all you have to do is, if you want to email them out, you can hit the email button, and it'll launch, do you want to go through Outlook or Google Mail? I use Google Mail because it's a lot easier than dealing with the Outlook.
Will Google Mail just bring up your
Gmail.
Gmail account?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And then, or if you have Lotus Notes, it'll say Lotus Notes up here, or Thunderbird, or whatever you're using. Or you could just do export. And what export does is it will find you create a folder elsewhere on your hard drive that you want to export these photos to, and it exports all the changes that you have made. So if you want to send some pictures back to the regional office or some media folk or whoever, you could make your changes in Picasa, then hit export, and then it will do it. It'll export it into a folder, and you can take that folder and post it on the web or send it to folks.
Are those photos that on the left, when all the folders you had, when you put it in a folder here, is it going to a folder on a server that Picasa hosts, or is it going to your computer?
It's going to your computer for now, so you can put it on a thumb drive to give to somebody, or you can put it on a folder in your desktop to refer to back later. You point to where the folder gets created.
Okay.
And then you have a nice little image quality. Do you want to preserve the original image quality, or do you want to go to maximum resolution on the photo? Sometimes if you want to send them up to the web, InstaWeb or another web platform, you could do maximum or minimum or normal. It just changes the size of the photo, but it doesn't really ruin the actual photo itself. It just changes the thickness, if you will, of the photo. And then you have the watermark feature. I mean, if you wanted to put your name or Forest Service or something fire out there, it'll put a little watermark in the corner. And it's actually a clean watermark. It's not really choppy. I've done that on a few photos. So it's pretty simple. And then, yeah.
So does it actually compress them?
It does.
Okay, but To what type of resolution?
Well, you dictate. Well, this photo here is 28 by 21, and it's 2 megs. It'll reduce it down to like 500K approximately. But if you
Okay.
preserve your image quality, it'll keep it the same.
200.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another great feature is the sure, no problem. Is the Blogger. So if you have a Blogger site set up, we talked about the Blogger yesterday. You could actually export these pictures to your Blogger site automatically as a photo album, and it's really sweet. It's really seamless, and once it's put up there, you can go back to Blogger and move the pictures around and do with what you will.
Is there a same feature for, how does this hook to your Facebook page? How can you, do you just put a link, or could you show us how to?
Yeah, okay. It doesn't have a direct link yet to Facebook, but it's going to, and it's also going to have a direct link to Twitter in future versions to tweet the photo. We're working out some licensing stuff. Another cool thing is collage. If you get artsy and on an incident you want to create some photos for a photo album, you could do things like this, move the photos on one page, put in borders if you want, rotate them around. So it's pretty slick, and I use this at home all the time for my home photos and my my side stuff. You can shrink it around, move it. I don't want to say sky's the limit, but it's a really handy little tool. In fact, I did the front cover of the guide with just doing Picasa. It takes just a couple minutes. And then you can actually create a movie. I won't do it here. Well, I can show you. But it'll take a whole album and create a movie, and you can overlay music into it, and it'll jump to the beat of the music, if you will. You can set that up in dissolves or fades or wipes or whatever. So you can take a whole photo album of photos that you have in your tray or just the actual album itself, and then put in music and then have the slideshow go, and you can have it go unlimited loop.
Okay, I was going to say, I was seeing, I'm thinking of applications for something like that, and I don't know about you guys, but we sometimes start community meetings with slideshows running on a PowerPoint, and if you didn't actually have to take the time to build it in Movie Maker or something, and you could actually just say, take all the photos here and make the slideshow and drop in the music, that it would be simple enough to do as something to run before your meeting, while the meeting's going. With, of course, appropriate music like Smoke on the Water or something.
Right. Fire on the Mountain.
Fire on the, well, no, there are licensing issues, but I don't know. You do what you want, but
That's a whole different class.
that's a whole different class, yeah.
And so once you create your movie, you could dictate your size of the movie as far as the resolution goes, and then you can have if you have captions on your photos, you can have the captions show or not, and it's pretty intuitive once you get in there. And then once you're done with the movie, you can send it right up to YouTube. It just asks for your YouTube account information, and it sends it right up there, and it hosts it.
Eric, does this program have any capacity to put like words on pictures before you upload them?
Captioning, you mean?
Yeah.
Right on top of the picture?
Oh, yeah, you can actually. Where'd it go?
Like sometimes when we put
Right here.
together slideshow presentations for public meetings, we write on the photo.
Uh-huh.
Big truck thingy.
Big truck.
Wow, and then, that's fabulous.
That type of thing.
Big
Yeah.
truck time.
Big truck. Or a big, never mind, I'll just go big truck. And then you can adjust your text, and once you're done, you hit create movie, or
Yeah.
just save this file as what you want and put it in a PowerPoint.
And you can also, I assume, do captions not on the photo.
Correct, you do regular captions here. My mouse would work.
Eric, is there any advantage to staying with one
platform, so to speak? I mean, Picasa is a Google product,
Right.
right? Is there any reason to just stay with all Google?
That's-
Is it simpler, easier?
It's simple. It's easy. It's all tied into one. It's kind of a one-stop shop. Google Products is so.
That's kind of, and on the Nemo protocols, we tried, those are the tools we chose primarily, and the reason was because you only need the same password and username. It fits you type the same thing in every, you don't have 45 passwords, and they all work together, and they're more likely to interconnect. So for this year, while we're early in this experimental project, we're suggesting you do that, but that, I wouldn't want to preclude anybody from going and adding other tools,
Right.
as they want to. But like I rely on Eric to find tools and then tell us where we ought to go with it, because I don't have time to do it, But
Like I do? No.
yes, you do.
Actually, I do. And if you want to make a caption to this photo, down at the bottom of the photo, there's a little caption bar. And
And then that caption follows the photo when you lay it up on your page,
Yeah.
correct?
and if you export it too.
Great.
So it's very, very nice. Guys hanging around. You could, these are two reporters. We did a pool helicopter trip up on the Navajo Reservation last month. So that's kind of the photo layout deal. You could crop. Again, red eye, of course. Any other thing I'm missing here? And then geotag, which is really nice, especially if you're going to upload them into albums. You could actually tag the photo of where the photo was taken in Google or geotag. It'll open up Google Earth. Because I took this with my smartphone, it's already tagged with my GPS coordinates. You click on geotag, it will open up Google Earth, and you can either place the cursor onto Google Earth or the pinpoint. It's getting really technical, but it's very effective, especially if folks want to know where these pictures are taken. And when you upload them up to Picasa Web, they'll have a little Google map of where the photo was taken. So, like, say your audience wants to know, oh, this is cool. Where's this spot? Where's this fire burning? You can get really get granular with it, and show them exactly where this photo was taken. Here's a couple of photos I've taken already, and they've been auto placed on on Google Maps. These are personal photos, but it kind of goes around northern Arizona here where I live. And when you click on it, it's supposed to, it will give you a thumbnail of where it was taken and any kind of caption information or any type of renaming convention that you've done. Mine are just raw from my BlackBerry, so I haven't gone in and edited them yet.
Can you do a batch rename?
You can. Thank you for asking. You could actually go back into your library here. You can click back to the library button. You go to, you just select an album right here. And you go to Tools. There's a ton of stuff in here, and I won't get into everything because we'll get in the weeds. But where's my batch? Batch edit. And you can take all the photos, rename them to, ABCD Fire, and they'll all get renamed to ABCD Fire 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive. You can take them all and rotate them. So if you have a lot of pictures that are rotated, you can change that all at once. Add contrast. You can do all the special effects to every photo at the same time if you wanted to, or just go individual. But auto red eye correction, that works sort of. It's not Google. The new Google products actually does facial recognition now, and they will actually know where your eyes are, and they'll know if they're red, and they'll actually try to take out the red eye automatically. But it's not exact. You might have to go and do it yourself.
You mentioned that John Holden was working on using Picasa inside InSeeWeb.
Right.
Do you know what that interface is going to be?
No, it has to do with geotagging as well, of photos. So when you upload it to InstaWeb or Picasa, you can have, there's supposed to be some kind of widget or interface that goes to.
So we're going to
InstaWeb.
load Picasa onto InSeeWeb, or InSeeWeb is going to direct to Picasa?
I'm not sure yet. He was very vague on that last conference call last year. But he said it was coming. And then, again, you could actually create photo products, if you will. There's a little shop feature. It's kind of like their money maker. Probably why the program is free. You could put this on a mug or a T-shirt or whatever, if you wanted to. Pretty robust print feature too. Down at the bottom of the tray, it'll give you. You can print a collage. You can do wallet-size photos, 3x5s, and then print them all at once. Or you could.
I can see the collage. You know, we make a lot of, the certificates for the end of the fire, things like that. And sometimes we use single photos and sometimes collage kind of deals. And
Yeah,
that would be.
it works out well.
And postcards, yeah. We've done
Postcards.
those.
I've always wanted to do this. And it's pretty slick. And that's the actual program. Let's get into the web, what it looks like on the public side. I'm showing you my life here. Private photos in public. This is my own personal account. There's when you upload, it'll ask you to, if you wanted to upload some photos, it'll ask you if you want to make it private or public. Of course, I have my public side, and I have my private side with my little girl. You can tell by the icon that these are locked. So if somebody should go onto my Picasa web photo album or photo gallery, they won't see these photos that are locked. Only people that I invite can see them. Say if you have a bunch of raw photos of something going on in a fire, you could lock those down so nobody else can see them until you're ready to make them public. Or if you have something that you need to share with somebody else that the public doesn't really need to see, but you got it, and they're bigger than email, you could share them on the website. Just make sure they're locked.
Can you download the whole file of the whole incident to a site such as Carbonite, so you had a backup while you were working?
Yes, you could. What the great thing about, like, say, this is a Deschutes Ochko. It's my trip that I did out there. I shot some photos. You could actually, once you have Picasa, the program loaded, you could download the whole album into Picasa from wherever you are. So if you're on another photo site, if you're on, let's say, like the state of Arizona has a Picasa site, and you have the software loaded on your computer, you could actually download the whole album to your computer because it's all public. So,
From an agency's public site.
right. Or even personal. I make mine all public. So if I hit download, it'll say, okay, I want to download this whole album to my computer. Hit download. It's 25 megs of photos. And it'll do it, and it'll sort in your Picasa software as an album.
Can I ask? I'm on the Picasa web.
Mhm.
I went ahead and signed up. It took just a minute, and when I went to the favorites, it gave me a bunch of people, I guess, out of my Gmail account that have
Right.
Picasa sites. It has you, and it gives me the option of receive updates. Or show a link on my gallery. Showing a link on my gallery is a problem. Receive updates, does that mean every time you put a new photo in, I'll get some kind of notification?
Right. Or every time I create a new album.
Just an album?
Yeah.
So it isn't that intrusive. I mean, it comes to your the email, the Gmail site you signed up with is where it comes
Right.
to.
And it'll show up on, when you open up the web albums, it'll show up on the side saying that there's new content, or there's a new album been posted by Eric Neitzel or whoever.
Okay. If you take that off, then you just have to go into Picasa to look at the albums and see if anyone
Right.
updated. Okay.
This is only in Picasa.
Correct.
Right.
You could also have the share your photos with other people or post them on the web. Since they're already posted on the web, if you hit the share button, you can email them to people or your lists. I've got a couple lists, PIOs, family, all that kind of stuff. If you could actually share the album while it's locked or unlocked, it doesn't matter, with folks, and then your little invitation, pretty easy. And since this is private, I'll go back into a public one, and there's another way to, I have no idea who this guy, oh, that's an ad. Okay, it kind of freaked me out. Okay, you can take this album, you can share it with, okay, it didn't work. Oh, I see, it's album level, let's see. I think I should know this stuff.
Chris, this is Judy Wade. Is there a way to get around the fact we have to get administrative permission to download?
I probably not. I mean, some people have gotten administrative rights to their computer for some other job they had to do, and while they had access, downloaded the stuff they needed, like the Picasa photo editing album. But that's sort of a gray area. Some people are saying, well, that's not right, but it kind of depends on you if that's the way you want to do it. Or I guess you go to your web guy and you say, look, I need to work with these, I need to use these tools on Fires, and I need to download it. I haven't had any problem with our web guy helping me get stuff and download things that I need for my job. Just like I said before, normally people aren't allowed on Facebook, but if you call CIO and say I need to access and monitor Facebook for my job, they'll give it to you. So I would certainly try that route first, but then after that it's a personal decision.
Okay, because I was trying to download it and of course the administrative privileges, so.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
It's Lawrence in Santa Fe. I'll email you a gadgets tool where you can go in and promote yourself. It takes like 2 seconds. You follow the instructions, and it'll automatically give you admin privileges so you can download what you need to download.
Yeah, and I don't use gadgets because I'm administrator on my computer. I set it up that way, but if other people want it, you have that email for the whole group. You could just do reply to all and send it. And people who don't need it can just throw it away. But so why don't you okay.
Just clarification, Gadgets does give you access, but I've seen some people, it takes a long time to actually get that administrative right, sometimes up to a day.
Now I've been on some units where I just,
Jim, Bree,
Yeah.
usually what happens is using that gadget to promote yourself, it tells you to log off, wait 5 minutes, and then log back in. I've never been able to do it on the first try. If you don't have privileges, log back off and try one more time. Typically on the second try logging in, you have your admin privileges.
Yeah,
and it
that-
only takes a couple of minutes.
That is true, but I've seen other people, it takes 4 or 5 times logging on to get it.
Can't do it on the product.
So try it and Lawrence will send out that to the whole email list. If for some reason the email list is not updated based on all the people who are here now. So if you do send it to me anyway, Lawrence, and then I'll fix the list. Go ahead and send it to me, and I'll fix the list and I'll send it out because I need everybody's Excel sheets back so I have the right email list.
And that's only for Forest Service, though, as I understand it.
Yeah, that's just Forest Service. Gadgets doesn't work if you're not with the Forest Service. So other people, you'll have to figure it out at your agency.
once you're in an album, you can hit link to this album. You're on the right-hand corner under shared, or right hand. And what you can do is you can either, this is your link to the photos, you can send in an email, or down below, you could, this is the HTML text that you could put into a website or a blog that you have hosted other than Blogger. because it does it for automatically for Blogger. Or you could embed a slideshow, and a slideshow means it's just a a scrolling slideshow, and you could do extra large show captions, HTML links for MySpace. You don't really need that, and autoplay. It's handy little tool if you have a blog that you want to paste the code into, or have your web person do it. Doesn't work with InstaWeb because InstaWeb doesn't receive code, but
do the thing about how you can send an invitation. So, like, if you have a Gmail list, you could send an invitation to everyone.
okay. And then you could email this album or send an invitation to view it by selecting your groups on the right-hand side. I think we just covered this.
Oh.
But,
So do you? Well, I guess what I'm asking is, do you have to have created a group, or can you go to your and say, take everything out of my Fire Gmail account and let all these people know we now have an album, and here's an invitation to look at the Fire pictures?
I don't think it has an all feature. You'd have to put in all the emails, let's see. It will recognize all the folks in here once you start typing their names, but it doesn't have a send to all feature. But you can put them all in one group and then send it to that group. That's real easy to do in Gmail.
Can you show how you create a group? Say you wanted to create one out of your Gmail account. Can you show us?
Let's go to Gmail.
Should be able to export the whole file right there.
Yeah. Go to Gmail. Gmail.
You go to
And you
Gmail.
broke Google.
Bueller. Okay, no, we got that here.
Yeah.
Well, with the last name like Ferris, what do you want?
Ferris, hey.
Probably heard it before, maybe he's tired of
once or
it.
twice.
He's sick.
Contacts. This is creating a group, eventually. You see a bunch of phone numbers in my thing because I've got Google Voice, which is another thing that's a beta test through Google on our Google phone system. Here are my groups. I lost a bunch. I haven't populated them yet, but all you have to do is once you're in your contacts, just select.
That's what it's coming down to.
Select the folks that you want in your group. Hit groups. New group, and that's it. It'll populate your group for you. Or if you have an existing group, you open up that group and collect the people, or select the people that you want, and hit add to group, and you're done. Really pretty straightforward. Or you can just select all and put them in all in one group. I've got quite a few people in here, and it's going to take a while for me to select all. Anyway, so that's kind
And
of
then when you add them, when you make a group, you're making the group in Gmail.
right.
And then how do you? Will it when you go back to Picasa, does it bring up every group you created in
Right.
Gmail
Yeah,
automatically?
It's all interlinked. Very, very slick. And every page in Google, I think almost every page, will have this top bar that says Gmail, Calendar, Documents, Reader, Web, and more. Almost every page. So they all look pretty much the same, and there's some continuity up there. So that's the great thing about all the Google products. I'm expecting my Google shirt here in a minute.
At least a hat.
Yeah. Take a pin. Now it's thinking. Still trying to select all. So, and even in Picasa, you could select the map of where each picture was taken. So on the right-hand side, you'll have the actual Google map. You can zoom in to see where to place the picture. If you don't have geotagging enabled device or camera, it'll go in. You can find out where you can, if you remember where your picture was taken. And this was taken up on the Navajo Reservation.
Eric, I think you said the whole album could be put
Yeah,
in
you
one
can
location.
you can do the whole album or just one photo. And then select your pin, put it right there, and that's where that picture was taken. And Picasa will remember that, and when you upload it to the web, it'll provide a thumbnail of where this picture was taken on the Google album. So, very slick. And then also, in Google Albums, it'll give you a Google Earth KML, so you can open up Google Earth and track where your pictures have been taken globally.
Explain what a KML is.
KML is a Google Earth file name or extension. And what a KML, if you find a file name with .kml, that's a Google Earth file. And you click on it, it'll open up Google Earth, and whatever data is on that KML file, it'll open up, or you'll find out where the positioning is of that, or whatever photo stream or objects are on Google Earth. I can get back out of here. Please stand by.
Hey Chris, this is Kathy Schmidlin.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I just wanted to make the distinction that I think that what we're going through right now is training on the various tools for social media. However, just a reminder to everyone, especially those folks who are PIOs that could be going out of the fire assignments, there's that whole question of whether you're going to be using the tools in the first place. And I think I just want to make sure that people understand that you might be on a fire assignment and you're not going to be able to use some of these tools, which is fine. I mean, it just all depends where you are, what the hosting unit prefers or wants you to do. Because, you have to remember that, and I'm just talking about fire assignments, if you happen to be on a fire that goes on things like forever or months, and you have incoming teams, you have to be concerned about when one team leaves, what do they leave for the next team? And are those folks, at the same kind of level of expertise? So that's just a disclaimer to folks that, this is great to have the training so you know how to use these tools, but just remember that doesn't mean you're going to be using them, or you have to understand how you're going to use them, because what are you going to leave behind when you leave?
I think it's a good point, Kathy. We discussed it a little yesterday, kind of about that sort of thing, and the fact that, just because we're offering you sort of the how-to on this thing doesn't have any real application to whether you'll ever use it a lot, whatever. But if you know how, at least you know what's out there and what's possible. And it lets you add to your roster of tools that you have to pull out if you need them. Again, my suggestion is, as I would do, is when I come into a fire, is talk to the PAO and the hosting unit. Tell them what we standardly do. That's the NEMO package of guidelines is going to be sort of our standard package. If they say, oh, well, okay, do whatever you want, we don't care, then okay. And I'll ask them what they would like me to do as far as handing it off. In the past, I've had them say, we'll make it part of our delegation to the next team, just as they often delegate to maintain InciWeb. They have sometimes said they'll delegate to have them maintain other social media sites. And that does put pressure on incoming teams to figure it out. But that's why we're also trying to pass this training along to the team PIOs so that they also have those skills. And there's going to be some, bumps along the road. And in some cases, like we said yesterday, it won't even be appropriate to use social media tools. So like any other part of your strategy, you use the tools in the box that are available. And we're just trying to give you a little help to know how to use the tool should you need it. But being strategic and of course being respectful of the incoming agency, what they want to do is, and what they want to maintain is important. I do think though that there's you do have the option of if it isn't a long ongoing event and things are kind of dying down when your team leaves and maybe a type 2 team's coming in afterward and they may not maintain it, I think it's okay to say, the things have calmed down, make a last post on the Facebook page and say, this is going to be our last post here, and direct them to the agency website and tell them it's going to be maintained at the forest level now and let it go. So, but everybody, you have to make your own decision about that. There's no standard way to do any of this. So we're making it up as we go along here.
Great. So the best thing to do is just go in and play. Get your own account. Put your family photos up here, and you can share them with your friends. It's a great learning experience. It's actually really fun. For me, it is, and I know a lot of other people use these tools, especially the photo portion. Not a lot of people know about Picasa and the functionality between the program and the website, and how it's a great tool to share photos and information, and it's got a lot of cool little features in there that by just playing around, you'll pick up rather easily. And if you don't have a computer that has the Picasa program on there, it's not a big deal. You just won't be able to edit the cool things that you want. You can go to the upload feature here, the button up on the top of the Picasa page, and select your photos that are based in your on your hard drive. You can create a new album or add to an existing album here. Select your photos and upload them, just like any other kind of web photo hosting, even Facebook. It's the same type of interface. Create your album, description, which is if you can and you have the time, do a description, and then again, there's the place the photo is taken, and then show an icon on a map, and then when you upload them, you could have a message sent to any of your groups saying that we just uploaded these new photos. Check them out. And then your privacy settings. And this is if you don't have the program on your computer. You can still use this tool. And then you see these faces on the right-hand side. What Picasa will do is it has a photo recognition or facial recognition feature. And it'll actually pick out faces of the photos in the photos that you've uploaded, and you can actually label those faces. And once this is my mom here, I put her name in there, and every photo that she's in gets named. So you can do a search for somebody really quickly in Picasa based on faces. That's a really new feature, and actually I got kind of freaked out with it. It's like Big Brother is looking at all our faces, but you may see some. Oh, there's Chris. She's in a few of my pictures with my mom. Mike Tobin from Fox News for some reason. John Miller. But anyway, and they'll count down how many Allens that there are in my albums, and their email address, and you can send them a quick message saying that here's all your photos. That might be helpful on an incident or not. It's helpful for me at home. And then it's only going to get better. They're going to have an interface here soon that you could actually send these photos to Facebook or send them to Twitter as a link with a little message that you dictate. It's not done yet. Google's still trying to do the play with Twitter and Facebook, but it's coming. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Flickr next, but there's a plugin that you can download that I have in the instructions to install into Picasa that allow you to upload to Flickr. It's an awesome little tool because this is a great little program, and if you're not using Picasa, the actual web version, you can upload to another site, which is the other premier Flickr or photo hosting site. I don't have that installed in this computer, and we're not going to really touch on Flickr a whole lot because it's pretty intensive and a little complicated. Any questions on Picasa or the photo host?
Find your enemies.
All right.
Does it also do videos or is it just?
Oh, yeah, it does videos. In fact, I don't have any public videos I can show because they're all evidence. Arson stuff. We've got, you can, if you have videos, I think it's up to 50 megs that you can upload to Picasa, to the web, and you could actually show videos here. And I'm thinking I might have one. I don't have access to that anymore. But yeah, it does videos. You can upload videos to Picasa. The videos are, it's kind of weird. There's an article in the manual that says that Google's the premier video hosting site through YouTube, but they're in Picasa the videos don't look all that great. It looks fine to me. You have a little play version that, it can get a little choppy, but I think it's just fine. But a lot of people don't like it. But YouTube is a lot better, and you can actually upload directly from Picasa to YouTube as well. And I don't have any raw video here I could send up. Anyway, so yeah, I'm sorry. It also does video. Another good tool for Picasa or even Flickr is you could have I store a lot of my data that I use on incidents, like logos. I have a whole logo folder of high-resolution logos sitting up there that I can grab at any time. I don't have to have them on my computer, which is nice. Or you can share with the agencies. I think I've got almost every agency logo, federal agency logo that I would ever need up here. It's just another way to use it to your benefit, or you can share with folks.
So you're going to send it separately?
I can, yeah. Sure. So here's,
Eric,
yeah.
can we go to your page and get those logos?
Absolutely.
Or you can do a Google logo search.
Good, thank you.
Yeah. Actually, this page is it's flickr.com/firegroundcom, FIREGROUNDCOM. Flickr, FLICR.com/firegroundcom. Just one word, firegroundcom.
Eric?
Yeah. You're welcome.
Eric,
If
while
you're
you're
not-
doing the
if
logo,
you're not
you might
federal,
want to the Google search for logos, because you don't have all the logos that you
Right.
ever did.
You can also do a Google search for logos as well. And then once you hit, you type in your search parameters like Fish and Wildlife, U.S. Fish and Wildlife logo, and then click on the images portion in your Google search, and you should get a good fair amount of logos there too. So on Flickr,
So I was asking, so do you have to have permission? I mean, don't you have to have permission to use these logos?
You do? Yeah, if you're on an incident, for sure. They're stored on the internet, and I grab them, and that's where I store them. But if I'm going to use them on an incident, yeah.
Usually on incident, if I need them, we're having some discussion about, like, we're under unified command and we have a couple of agencies, and they'll say, well, they'll agree that we all want our logo on the thing, and I'll say it's okay, I have them, and I'll put them on. And that's usually the only. I mean, I don't just stick people's logos on for the fun of it, but I keep them all because they're handy for me sometimes, it's a weekend, and I can't find the guy at the state of Colorado who has the logo, but I have it on there, and as long as they have a representative there who says, yeah, that's the one we want to use, that's why I keep them.
And they're good in presentations as well to have, especially the higher resolution one. You can pull them off an agency website, but their resolution isn't that great. Now we're on to Flickr, which is the other premier photo hosting. You can get the free version. I think it gives you 100 megs a day that you can upload to, and as well as 2 videos in a month. It's kind of limited unless you buy the Pro. I happen to buy the Pro because I believe it's worth it for me with my photography stuff. But the great thing that I kind of want to focus on is you can create a public album, meaning that if you want to solicit photos from the public and they're not on Facebook for some reason, or or you need high resolution photos, they can go to your group, public group that you can create, and upload their own photos for you, and then you can come and grab them and do whatever you want. It's very handy. So like I created a few groups. I created one for the station fire. Didn't really get much use out of it because we didn't advertise it. I did one for this last assignment I was on up in the Navajo Reservation for this big winter storm deal. And that group was, we didn't solicit photos. We put them out there so the media can grab them since we were so remote. And we, and Bree McGee, who was with me on that assignment, she was able to upload photos from her Flickr account as well. So we had a nice pool of photos that we could send out to the media with a hyperlink. It was really easy for them to grab. But this is kind of the general layout. It's basic thumbnails. It came with a nice link. It was flickr.com groups, NAZ Storm, and easy for people to remember. You can create that when you create a group, and it kind of walks you right through it.
Just out of curiosity, people cannot upload to Picasa.
Right, not yet.
Okay.
There was a feature, and I couldn't find it. I think they locked it down for some reason. But we had an operations guy send up this photo. It's actually an award-winning photo. They've got a lot of play, but it's sheep walking through a trench in the snow to a corral. We had 4 feet of snow up in 4 to 8 feet of snow up in the Navajo Reservation last month, and sheep couldn't eat, so we had to move sheep. It's like herding. It was better than herding cats, but so what the other thing that Picasa, it's in the manual, but Picasa will allow you to get a secret email address. So when you have photos that you want to upload and you don't have a way to do it from the web, you can email it to this address and it'll post it on Flickr for you. Did I just say Picasa? Anyway, so it's a real easy way to do things. And that, again, it's in the manual. I don't want to get in the weeds of Flickr because it can get kind of intensive.
Eric, is there any difference between the quality of the photos that get posted on Picasa and Flickr? Have you ever heard any feedback from the media about whether they like Picasa or Flickr better?
No, well, Picasa has a little more flexibility. You can scale down your photos if you want, and you're limited to the amount of size or the amount of photos in your free Picasa. You have 1.5 gigs. So with Flickr, you're not limited as to on the free version you are, but you can upload as big as you want and as thick a photo, if you will, as you want in the Pro version. And again, the Pro version is only $20 and change, and that's a year's worth of photo hosting. So I usually upload at maximum resolution just because I like to share. And then if they ever get into a publication, it's great. You can see here that top contributors down to the bottom of this group, this is the public side. It was me and then Bree McGee, and she was able to upload. And then I gave that email address out to some folks on the line who had smartphones or web-enabled devices that could upload photos via email.
You know, Eric brings something up that I know a lot of you have, I assume a lot of you have experienced, I have, is that, you know, the idea that we're the only ones posting photos about our fire is really old school. Our experience on the Umpqua, for instance, on the Bose fire, lots of people out on the line posting to their Flickr and TwitPics accounts and things like that, and twittering out photos from the line. So, you know, I've had some operations people who were horrified that that was happening, and other people who said, well, let's harness it. There isn't a lot you can do about it. My suggestion is that what I do and what Don Ferguson I know does is we talk to people about what social media we're using during the morning briefing, and we tell them, you know, like with anything else, please do it on your break time and not during times when you should be paying attention to the fire. And as far as Twitters and things, what we did was we had like the Baker River Hotshots. They had a lot of stuff up, and they had some really good information from the line. And I told them that I was just going to take their tweet. I wasn't going to retweet it, as Jay had said about you know, not retweeting people. But I told them I would be taking their tweet, I'd be clearing it with operations, and then retweeting it as our own. But it was access for me to information from the line that I didn't have any other way. So you know, it's going to happen anyway. Don't get freaked out about it. It's going on a lot. I've had people on the line doing live interviews with radio stations. So that's just the way it is now. And to me, it seems like harnessing it. It's kind of like, to use a bad, you know, example, legalizing prostitution. If we say we know you're doing it, and we're watching it, and please do it carefully, and we have some way to sort of, you know, incorporate it into what we're doing. You know, that's about all you can do. Banning it doesn't work. We've tried that on other fires, and it doesn't work. So, that's just a heads up. And their photos, I have asked them, you know, to, if they will, bring their photos into me once I see that they're putting them up online. But I can also steal them off their TwitPics account, which I do. And we post them to the fire cam. But as Eric said, giving them a Flickr account if you have one, or if they can upload them to your Facebook fan page or something if they want. And often they just did it back in camp. I mean, they took the pictures while they were out there, and it got tweeted right away. But they did the big uploads back in camp. So just a heads up.
And you know, there is a photo editor built into the Microsoft Office suite that has the functionality to just reduce the resolution of the photos down to web size, so you can immediately load them into NCWeb.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, that was on Picasa?
No, it's Microsoft product. It comes with the Office suite. It's a photo editor.
Oh, yeah.
It allows you to immediately re-res it down to web size.
It says
or
small web photo.
small web photo, large web photo.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty intuitive.
Pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Small, large, big, huge. So, you know, I also did a group for Capitol Christmas Tree. It was hard to get pictures from the field since I was doing most of the social media from home or wherever I was. But we had people add photos from each venue. I was able to contact each stop that the Capitol Christmas Tree made and ask for photos to be uploaded to our Flickr site. I sent the address via email, and it worked out real well. And I was able to put photos in here too. Branson, Missouri, sent us posted a bunch of photos of the gig, and I was able to take these photos and put them up on Facebook and tweet a couple of them from Flickr. So it's a great little photo sharing tool that you could solicit photos from people. You know, even the hot shots could upload it directly to Flickr from their smartphones. So anyway, that's kind of the Flickr in a nutshell. There's you know, once you go into an actual picture, you could add a note if you want, make a comment. add to a set, which is another pro feature, but or blog this, which you can send it up to Blogger or Flickr or Twitter. I don't have it set up in my account here. Or you can see all the sizes that the photo is.
How do you decide which Picasa or Flickr to use on any given incident?
Well, personally I'll do both, because if you want to solicit photos, you can sign up for a free Flickr account and then create a group in Flickr where people can upload photos for you.
And then keep that as where your people upload to, but then
Right.
use Picasa for your day-to-day photos. Okay.
Because Picasa is such an easy way to edit photos and upload mass amounts if you have them.
Eric, have you had any trouble with inappropriate photos being loaded by people on your Flickr site?
Not on Flickr, no. On Facebook last year at the Station Fire, we had a few of them. It was just basically copyrighted photos that were clipped from the web, and they posted it up on. And that, we wanted to stay clean, so we took them down. But if people are posting to Flickr, they're usually skookum enough to know how to use Flickr, and then not get involved with that. I haven't had any problems yet on the Flickr or the Picasa side either. So, and this is somebody submitted this online from, I don't know I can't remember who it was, but great photo, and we used it.
So your gig last year? What do you want?
And this is Jim Payne's gig. And then it's got some basic tools up here. You can rotate a photo if you want online, and do some basic edits and crop. So, kind of flickered out. Anybody have any questions, or I get into the weeds in the manual, not in the weeds, but it's helpful stuff on how to create a group and step-by-step stuff.
What's the difference between a collection and a gallery?
A collection is a folder full of folders, if you will, or sets of photos.
Like if you had all on your ABC Fire, these are helicopter in it.
Yeah.
You put helicopter pictures, fire pictures, group community meeting pictures.
Exactly, sets and collections. Here's Operation Winter Storm. It's actually a set that resides on the Flickr. I could drag that into the fire folder here, or collection, and it'll become part of the collection of multiple sets, if you will. I have all my fires in this one. I have 21 sets of pictures in here.
Now, can I ask what I'm looking at right now? Is those sets and those groups and where you have them stored? That's on Flickr. That's not on your desktop,
Right,
or
that's
anything.
on Flickr. Operation Winter Storm has its own little set or collection that I put the set in. If I had photos of Division, Monument Valley Division, I could create a set for that and put them in under the umbrella of Operation Winter Storm.
So what was your logo thing?
Logos? I think I just had that standalone. And I could probably put that into Fires. That's where I use it. And I have a logo stream. All of my different fires show up in the under my collection. And then of course, you got the print create. You can print your own T-shirts from here, or postcards, or special graphic stuff. Get reproductions done. I have not done it yet, but I've seen people through FEMA at Katrina use Flickr. They created a certificate. I think it was FEMA. I can't remember, state of Mississippi, but they created a certificate, a photo certificate, and they sent it off to the service to have printed. And it turned out really nice, and they were mailed back or FedExed back within a day or two. Something to think about if you want to do certificates. And then if you have a BlackBerry or smartphone, there's ways to set up third parties, or you can set the send the photos directly to Picasa using the email address, or you can use a service like BrightKite, which we'll get into a lot later, that will place your photo on a map as well as place it on Flickr for you. And it's kind of like, as well as Facebook and Twitter at the same time. So there's it gets kind of intense, but that's kind of how I roll, I think, sometimes. So that's Flickr. Any questions on Flickr? Did I get in the weeds too much? All right. Do we want to do a bio?